I've not been in the dating world for quite a while, but after watching Amanda in the new Swedish Netflix series Diary of a Ditched Girl, it looks to be a brutal landscape and not one that everyone may be built for. 31-year-old Amanda desperately craves to be loved and decides to try it all. She dates all kinds of people, swipes on dating apps, and picks up guys in bars. She's submissive and dominating, but stays abandoned. She even has a hard time getting to a second date. The same goes for Amanda's friends. Together, they try to find new dates for each other while asking, how many times can you venture into the world with your heart on your sleeve only to have it stepped on once again? So first off, despite what the title may imply, this is not a murder mystery that revolves around a young woman found dead in a roadside ravine. This stars Carla Sin, who has been in a couple of other Netflix productions like The Are Murders and Love and Anarchy. Now, Sin plays Amanda, the central character who is also the author of the novel on which this is based. Now, this is a quick romantic comedy drama. It has 7 episodes that are all around 30-ish minutes. And while this is a highly entertaining watch, it's also very painful and awkward to take in. Amanda is trying so hard to find love. Heck, just even a steady date. And every time that she matches with someone, or even approaches them in person, she ends up being ghosted and alone while she tries to figure out why she can't get a second date. And while she's not a perfect character by any means, she's got huge feelings that are prominently on display. She's also kind and creative, which complements her big emotions. And she's not the type of character that you'd expect would have trouble finding a date, or even someone who'd want to go out repeatedly with her. She has fun. She's not creepy to be around, and she enjoys good friendships. But the dudes she goes after, they are seemingly one bad decision after another. It's probably pretty obvious that Amanda's relationships will be the main focus of the storytelling, but there are several other relationships that are examined. Some to contrast with what Amanda's experiencing, others to just help explain. She's got a close, sometimes unhealthy connection with her sister. They work together, they party together, and they're almost inseparable, at least on the part of Amanda. The insights we get by watching their dynamic help to inform Amanda's outlook on romance. She sees her sister in a happy and loving long-term situation and pines for something like it. But then she also works alongside her mom, and mom has a completely different take on hooking up and being dependent on others. Now, the series pulls in some good parallels from Amanda's life to illustrate why she might be having a difficult time garnering a lasting connection with just about anybody. When we get to see her interact with her estranged dad, there are so many red flags and clues as to how this guy has just created this emotional hole in her upbringing. Now, so far, this probably sounds kind of sad, maybe a little depressing. And there is some of that, especially watching the repetition of failed dates. But there are so many laugh-out-loud moments also that offset any somberness. Now, one of the first dates that we watch Amanda go on, I was laughing incredulously because of how she allows herself to be treated. And it was a sad thing to watch from an emotional standpoint. But the execution of the actions and then Sen's expressions, they were hilarious. She does a phenomenal job at alternating between being a big and emotive person to one who's mousy and crumpled. Both are believable because of how she arranges her posture and facial expressions just to fully express her character's state of being. And the dudes that she goes out with, like I said, they run the gamut from charming and soulful to self-absorbed and creepy. Several times, it makes it easy to root for a guy not to follow up with Amanda. But then when she is with someone who comes across as genuine, maybe tender, that sets up the heartbreak when they fail to respond. Each, though, is excellent as a mirror to how Amanda feels about herself and where she places her self-worth. It's also rewarding to see when she experiences some emotional growth and then equally saddening when she backtracks on her progress. The camera work in the show feels a bit like episodes from The Office, where the camera is often following characters around the location, switching back and forth in a quick pan as conversations or actions progress. Now, sometimes the shakiness, it gets to be a bit much, but because the cameras aren't in a lockdown spot, we're allowed, sometimes forced, to get very intimate and up close with the characters. Now, this intrusive style sounds like it could be uncomfortable to endure, maybe even bumpy to watch. Despite some focus issues and then the semi-shaky cam, the style worked for this style of storytelling. I mean, it felt more like lifestyle-oriented, pursuing the characters and eavesdropping on their lives. kind of like a reality show, but one that's way more polished and with much more congenial players. Probably the largest drawback of the show is how it ends. While a bunch of the arcs are resolved, or at least satisfyingly addressed, there is one large needle drop moment before the screen goes black, leaving us to wonder what was said and then what's going to transpire next. Now, this didn't ruin the series, but it did make me salivate for more. The characters are flawed, layered, varied in personality and charisma, and the story keeps time moving forward, even when elements feel repetitive thanks to multiple unsuccessful couplings, and then an indeterminate time structure. The humor is balanced well between the romance and the moody drama, creating enough conflict to create emotional quandaries while not becoming so dire that the show's a downer. Carla Sen is wonderful to watch, and kind of like the train wreck Amanda's life has the potential to be, Sen creates a persona that is endearing and aggravating, but one we root for to succeed, or at least find contentment in whatever situation she ends up in. This is an enjoyable, quick watch filled with laughs and groans, and while it can be a frustrating storyline to take in, the series as a whole becomes an affecting arc full of cautionary tales and some romantic dreams. There is a ton of sex and nudity, a lot of profanity, no violence. I give Diary of a Ditched Girl 4 out of 5 couches. Okay, does anybody have a nightmare dating story that you'd like to share? If so, give us your most unhinged experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.